Welcome to the Crook County Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Wednesday, June the 18th, 2025. It's 9:00 a.m. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Brad, would you lead us, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, moving right along, public comment. Anyone?
On the agenda. Yes, I am. Yeah.
You are our first discussion item once we hit that element.
Okay,
So no public comment in here. How about online? Any public comment? You want to ask something, please type it in there. Seeing none, we will go into consent agenda. Consider a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will second the motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
Herrick, aye.
Barney, aye. So move. Now discussion. 2, request for waiver to reduce the rental fee for the Crook County Fairgrounds indoor. Welcome.
Now Anna gets to come up.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you. So yes, my name is Anna Comparison with St. Charles Foundation. We host the annual hospice auction in December at the fairgrounds, and I'm here to request the consideration of waiving the rental fee associated with hosting the event.
Very good. I think this is an ongoing thing that we do. We have a
This'll-
fund that is established for that and it has been budgeted.
Yeah, I want to say 35th or 6th year. I want to say it's the 36th year. So.
Yeah. What's the total amount on that? Just
It's
500 or something.
It's estimated around 2,300 roughly. We're in there from Wednesday to Sunday.
And it is amazing the amount of money that you make in one night from this town and the generosity of the people that are involved. I just want to commend the community.
I 100%
because
agree.
It is the community that comes forth, and what a nice event and how well organized it's run.
Thank you.
And I just want to compliment all your workers, your volunteers. And I was a participant, but also not just me, but all the participants. It's just a wonderful, wonderful event. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. It's a great event. It's a huge team that comes together, and we've had a record-breaking year every year since returning to from COVID. So we're very excited and very proud of it, and absolutely the community comes through in a great way. So we're thankful to the community for that too.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's my honor to go ahead and to make a motion to waive.
I was gonna
Oh,
just ask a question.
Okay.
So I always get this asked by the community. So, and I've asked it a couple times, I can't remember. How do you guys separate the dollars that come in? Do those specifically go to Crook County, or do they go into a big pool that goes to everybody? How does that work?
It goes into a big pool. However, we do track it, and however much we raise is allocated as to be used in Crook County. So last year we raised about 180. That 180 was budgeted to be used in Crook County, and then our accounting team tracks and makes sure that that dollar amount gets used in Crook County.
Great. Thank
That
you so
answer?
much.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
Go ahead.
okay. Now you've wrecked my rhythm.
Well
here.
done.
Okay, it is my honor to make a motion to waive the rental fee at the Crook County Fairgrounds for the Prineville Hospice auction to be held on December 6th of 2025.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
Herrick, aye.
Aye.
Barney, aye.
Thank
So
you
moved.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope to
you.
See you guys.
On
next
to
summer.
bigger, you will see us and bigger and better. We're
That's
at
right.
180 now.
Yeah, and every year we're growing in capacity. We had record-breaking number of attendees. Like it's been great. So thank you for the support. We appreciate it.
Thank
you.
you.
Will, recommendation for cost of living COLA adjustment.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Will Van Vactor, the County Manager. Included in your packet is a memorandum with a recommendation regarding the cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 26. The June CPI came out last week at 2.4%. This is slightly lower than what we had estimated in the budget. We had estimated 3% in the budget, not knowing what that final number was going to be. So it's a slight decrease from what we had budgeted. I wanted just to take this opportunity to kind of walk through some recent history in regards to the board's COLA increases. So prior to 2021, including both fiscal year 2020 and 2021, the board did a 1% increase. That worked out okay in 2020 when June CPI came in at 0.6%. But starting in 2021, we really started to see the inflationary trend that we're still persisting through right now. And CPI came in at 5.4%. So later in 2020, well, starting in 2022, the board did a 2% increase and also utilized some ARPA funds to do a retention bonus. So there was a one-time payment and percentage that the board paid in 2022 to try to address some of the inflationary pressures staff would have been feeling at that point. In 2023, then the board started linking the COLA increase directly to CPI. CPI in June of 2023 was 4.9%. The COLA that year was also 4.9%. Same with last year. CPI came in at 3.3%, and the board approved a 3.3% COLA increase. So just kind of providing a little context to the value of using CPI as a kind of a baseline for determining CPI. It's objective. It's a neutral kind of standard to base the COLA to, and it's transparent and based on national data. It balances inflationary responsiveness with fiscal prudence, and it aligns with the precedent that the board has set over the past few years in terms of using CPI as that basis. So with that in mind, I've recommended that that the board approve a 2.4% COLA increase for fiscal year 26 because it came in slightly lower than what we had forecasted in the budget. That will amount to approximately $94,000 in savings through fiscal year 26. And I'm happy to answer any questions on the basis.
I don't have any questions, and I think you did a great job of recapping because that's, what I recall that we did.
Yeah, I think the fact that, sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but it's more representative to what the actual cost, because that's what it is. It's a cost of living increase. It's not a step increase. It's not, that's what it was built as the cost of living increases, we're going to help to ensure that we don't fall behind with our paychecks. And so giving that more representative number, I think that is right to do for the employees, but I also think it makes sense to the citizens of Crook County who pay our bills or pay our wages with their taxes. So I think it's a very respectful, positive way to go about it.
And I think they both addressed everything, so I'm fine. I think you did a good job, Will. I agree.
I'd entertain a motion.
And make a motion to approve the recommendation on the cost of living adjustment to 2.4% for the fiscal year 2026.
And I will second that motion.
Motion's been made and second to approve a 2.4% CPI on year 2026. Any discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
Rick, aye.
Barney, aye.
All right.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're up again, Will, on a public meeting workflow recommendation.
Yes, thank you. Sarah, I just want to confirm did they get a copy of it's in the packet? Okay, so in your packet, there's a memorandum outlining a proposed workflow for recording and uploading board and committee meetings. This was put together in response to Commissioner Crawford's request at the May 21st board meeting, that staff develop a workflow plan to ensure that all Crook County boards and committees consistently record, upload, and maintain video content. Commissioner Crawford's request ties to the board's adopted goals and strategies for this coming fiscal year, specifically supporting Goal 1, outstanding service to the community, Goal 3, fostering a collaborative culture within the organization, and Goal 5, developing and implementing an organizational and communication strategy. In response to this request, I had conversations with folks from our IT department, including Chelsea, who's been very helpful in putting together some of the technical aspects or helping me understand some of the technical aspects and providing feedback. And Sarah has provided feedback as well, but both of their inputs has been really helpful in developing this workflow. I also had an opportunity to discuss this proposed workflow with the department heads last week. I've tried to incorporate some of the feedback I received from them at last week's meeting. Some of the feedback centered around a need to kind of centralize these efforts. And so I've tried to, with Sarah's assistance and kind of thinking through how that would work, we've tried to centralize as much as we can with the resources we have available right now. So kind of with that background in mind, I'll just walk through the workflow that I'm proposing real quickly. The workflow calls for all public meetings to be conducted using Zoom, including both for video and audio. It notes that audio only recordings are permitted only in certain circumstances, technical challenges, other disruptions that may limit the ability to use Zoom, but that Zoom is otherwise to be used. Zoom meetings are to be saved to the cloud. This ensures that they're easily accessible. Upon completion of the meeting, the Zoom account holder will receive an automated email notifying them that the recording is ready. This email will then be forwarded to Sarah to handle the final processing and upload to the county's website. The goal and the recommendation is that all meetings should be uploaded to the website within 5 days. That ensures that public has access to those meetings in a timely manner. So kind of back on the concern about centralizing some of that work, I'll just kind of break down who's responsible for what under this workflow. So each department will be responsible for creating and hosting the Zoom meeting. They will be responsible for confirming cloud recording is active, ensuring that meeting settings are properly configured, and then forwarding the cloud recording email to the communications officer, Sarah. They also are, as they already are to a certain extent, required to make sure that the meeting notice and agenda includes all of the Zoom access information that's required. The communications officer will then download recordings, upload to the public platform and the county website, provide training and checklists to department staffs to ensure that they all understand the process, and hopefully try to help minimize any stress that may exist around having this additional step to the public meetings process. The communications officer will also conduct periodic audits for compliance and follow up on any missed uploads, and serve as backup if the department is unavailable to provide the server or provide the necessary work on their end prior to or at the meeting. So just kind of in sum, this workflow aligns with public meetings law, actually goes a step above in terms of what is required under Oregon's public meetings law. And it ties back to the board's goals of transparency and communication with the public, and explain or provides an opportunity for the county to go kind of above and beyond in terms of ensuring the public has every opportunity to be aware and engage with our local government. We still have a few things to work through on the technical side, including finalizing the platform selection. We have a couple of options out there. Either YouTube or Ignite. Planning department currently uses Ignite for planning commission meetings. We use YouTube for board of commissioners meetings. I think it's important that we have a consistent kind of presentation of our videos. So I'd like to see a uniform platform for presenting our to the public.
Have you looked into like how available Ignite is? I mean, just because I think everybody's heard of YouTube, nobody's heard of Ignite. I mean, maybe not nobody, but it's definitely less prevalent.
The feedback I've gotten is that YouTube is more user friendly in part because the public is much more used to YouTube. And I think that's the direction we're leaning at this point. We want to make sure we distribute a workflow checklist and training materials before we go live with this. We'd like each department to identify 2 staff members to be trained and know how the workflow works in case, basically building in redundancy in case somebody's sick or on vacation. And then we have some security and access controls that we want to kind of confirm for file handling and uploading. So a couple technical things to work through, but hoping we can kind of start to do a test run by mid-July and then kind of get everybody on board by sometime in August with this new work.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Will, and especially thank you, Sarah. I know this is a lot, but I think it's really the right thing to do to make sure that people have the opportunity to see not just our meetings, but all the meetings that we put on in the county.
Yeah, definitely want to thank Sarah for all her help to date in terms of making sure this is a feasible plan. And a big shout out to Chelsea for working through how this is actually going to roll out and be implemented on everybody's side. So appreciate everybody's help in putting this together. So I don't know kind of what the next step is as far as the board goes. I don't know if you guys need to adopt a resolution or make any sort of motion. I guess I might lean on Eric to advise on this. I would envision ultimately this being incorporated either as an addendum or a section in a communications plan, which whatever chapter kind of covers public meetings. But as far as next steps right now, I don't know if Eric has any advice.
Yeah, I think if this is going to be a countywide policy, we should do the same process we use for every other countywide policy, which is to incorporate this into an order and have it approved at a public meeting.
Right.
So we can put it in order to bring it back. Approval.
And it's kind of a work in progress too. And so, I mean, there may be changes that are made
Yeah.
periodically to make it more.
100%. And thank you, Commissioner Barney, for bringing that up. I think it's important to note that this is it is a work in progress. It's a step in a positive direction in terms of transparency. But as resources change, maybe more resources become available, we may be able to centralize more of the work. Or technology may change. It may require some adjustments to the workflow. So in that regard, it's very much a living document. I would envision over the first 6 months, we may have some growing pains and may need to make some tweaks here and there. But I think from a high level, I think making the videos available kind of meets the board's goal of transparency and whatever kind of stuff we have to do in the background. I think we can make those adjustments as needed.
Very good. Thank you, Will, for getting the ball rolling and making it happen.
Yeah, thanks everybody involved.
Katie. And John, public hearing, first reading of ordinance 352, zone map amendment.
Morning, Commissioners. For the record, John Eisler, Community Development Director. What you have before you today is ordinance 352. As this is an ordinance, we need 2 public hearings, at least 14 days apart. I would recommend, before we get started, a motion to read by title only. I'll pass it off to Kate.
Make a motion or
I
I'd
make-
entertain a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been, any discussion? Motion is
Discussion,
made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Irma Guy.
Barney, aye.
Aye.
So before the Board of Commissioners, Crook County, Oregon, an ordinance amending the Crook County zoning map to adopt a zone change for MTL 1614110000601 and declaring emergency for ordinance 352.
Thank you, Chair Barney. As I said, Senior Planner Katie McDonald has done all the work on this, so I'm going to pass it off to her.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Katie McDonald, Senior Planner. Before you is an ordinance for a zone map amendment. This property was included in the Powell Butte study, which is back in the early 2000s. It has gone through the exception process, adopted into our comp plan, was amended through ordinance 127 Amendment B, and is listed on there. The property is in Powell Butte off of Reef Road. And it's almost 20 acres. The Powell Butte Cemetery is kind of butts into this property a little bit. So it goes around the south end of the Powell Butte Cemetery. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing, and there's a decision from them in the ordinance along with the amendment. If there's any questions from that, I can answer those.
Just the fact that this was decided quite a while ago and it's just finally being kind of cleaned up in the code, is that the gist of it?
So the Planning Commission hearing was June. Yes, so the code, our county code has a zone map amendment. The decision comes from the Planning Commission, but then there's also an accompanying ordinance that goes with it. So this will finalize the process for them.
But
Commissioner Crawford, I think
yeah, I'm saying it was
The
it was
Powell Butte
decided
study
in
was-
2000.
was decided a long time ago, but
That's what I was asking.
at that time, some of the properties in that study were changed. The zoning was changed, but not all of them. I think
Yeah.
it was like a who wants to do this now kind of thing. And then it kind of got shelved for 2 decades. But now it's resurfaced and people are invoking their rights to change the zoning on their property.
But it's not like we're changing the zoning today.
No, that
It's
was,
been changed. We're just cleaning up the map.
maps hadn't been changed.
Right, so the exception process for it to be irrevocably committed was done in the 2000s. So it's a 2-step process. One, goes through the exception process to where the property was decided to be I said it once, irrevocably committed. But then the second process to actually change the map. And that's where the process that we're at now is to actually change the map.
How come it didn't get done back in the day? Just kind of got dropped.
The records from the Powell Butte study are all over the place. And the best that I've been able to piece together through the history is that at that time, some people wanted to continue with the process and pay for the second step, and some people did not. So as the properties have changed hands, the maps have they were not readily available. And working with GIS a few years ago, we got the maps available for staff so that staff is aware that they were part of the study and being able to relook at those things. But there's nothing definite in any of the records that I've been able to find to give a specific reason why some properties were and some properties were not.
I kind of think you gave it. Some people just went ahead and did it and some people just didn't want to.
So I looked at the map and do you have any idea how this may progress? Are there others that we may do this with?
There are, so on page 27 of your packets, under figure 1,
27, page 27, you
of
said?
your packet,
I've got 22 pages.
we get the wrong one.
Pages of the document itself. Yeah, you're on the right page, that's right now.
Are you looking at the okay.
The
I'm
red
on
or the
page-
green?
On page 22, 2 of 22, but are you on the last page then? Okay, here we go.
There's like a neon green and then there's like a more,
We have Sarah.
oh, there we go. Look.
Yeah. Maybe it's best to, then we can both be looking at the same thing. They're all looking at the same thing. That's the one I was on, but I thought it was. on.
Okay. So that is a close-up of the area that is one of the areas that can be rezoned. Sarah, if you go to attachment C of the packet, I have it as page 38. Okay, yep, that one. The green sections are the Powell Butte study areas. So it depends on, it's very parcel specific. And that mapping there shows the potential with the lime green. So some properties have already within that have had their zone changed and some have not.
So the little red square in the middle, that's that little part that you just showed that had the red mark on the other. That's
Yeah,
what
so
we're
that's
looking
that's the subject property for this.
at? Okay,
Mm-hmm,
but that
And-
was that previous page.
yes.
That's what we were.
Yep.
looking at.
So that's but these are the areas, and you'll see the dashed black line.
Yeah,
Those are also areas, but the green is the amendments.
So if your property is within that area and
Have a talk.
you're not designated, then you would say, come talk to the planning department, community development department and say, am I part of this?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll take a look at the history through the ordinances that were amended multiple times and make sure that the property is eligible and be able to provide a path.
Commissioner Crowell, I'll just add that if we do that, there's one fee no matter how many applicants are part of that process. So if you're going to come talk to us, also probably talk to your neighbors that are.
Get your neighbors involved.
Yeah, I would just kind of for efficiency was, kind of in a direction, is there opportunity for us to reach out? Maybe move this one way or the other? So we're not continuously doing this little piece at a time, on and on and on. And as time goes by, things get lost, forgotten. Somebody else has to go through and update themselves. Just a thought. I mean, it's their right to do it. This happened, and they may wish to or not. And is there a deadline? Is there advantage to a process that would clean this up quicker?
I think those are excellent questions, Commissioner Barney. And that's something we'll look into. But there is no deadline as far as that question.
Thank you.
I guess, have you opened the public hearing yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So all right, you finished staff report. We're done questions. I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone here wish to comment? Anyone online wish to comment? Hearing none, seeing none, well, close the public hearing. So this is two hearings. This is the first, so there's no decisions or anything to be
No
made.
decisions, no motions necessary. We'll just bring this back next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
I think that ends our going to manager's report.
I don't have anything this morning. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner updates.
I'll let Susie go first.
I get to go first. Well, one of the things, I've got to talk in here. One of the things, so American National Cattlewomen is coming to Black Butte Ranch next week. And so I am going to be a sponsor. And I was going to be, Commissioner Susan Hermrick. And one of the things is they could put a logo on, and I was wondering if it would be all right with you and Brian if I put the Crook County. It would just go,
Yeah, 100%.
it would just be, and it's the cattlewomen, it's agriculture, it's, so I was just wondering if I could have your permission. Doesn't cost us anything, or it would just be for that. So I'm asking, so if I would make a motion that I could use Crook County seal to put onto their flyer, that would be all right.
Second.
Yeah, I don't even know if we need a motion.
I don't know. I just wanted to be sure it was okay
It's great with me.
That's fine with me.
already. And then the second thing is tomorrow night, I'm meeting with some landowners out in Pal Butte about obviously the Pacific Core, Route D. And that is about all I have. I think I had something else, but somehow I've forgotten whatever else it is. I need to put a big notepad on my desk so I remember what I need for my commissioner updates. But anyway, so that's it.
Okay, well, I should have some more information today for you
Perfect.
because there's a lot of misinformation going around Pal Butte. That there's been decisions that have been made and that there's multiple lines and I've talked with Pacific Power, at least on the short term, and they said that they have no idea what they're talking about. And so I think it's really important that we share the legitimate information with people out there. So can I share that information when I receive that with Susie, since we've talked about it here? How do we do that without screwing up public
So-
meeting laws?
If what you're doing is you have received information, I think you can pass that information on to the other two commissioners for them to read on their own. Particularly if that information is in a written form, you can just transmit that through say a memo.
And I'll be planning a good way to get it out to the public as well. So
Okay,
I'm sure
sounds
that
good.
once they all know, then Susie can know and Brian can know.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
100%.
Seth, for that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anything else?
No.
So Thursday, my better half and I attended the DJC, which is the Daily Journal of Commerce's awards banquet in Portland, and it's a big place there.
Expo Center.
Yes. And it pertained to the Justice Center. The Justice Center was nominated and was on one of the best 25 projects in the state of Oregon. So it was a great experience. We have a little trophy and I brought it back. It's in our office. It was an honor to do it. It came through because of our Kirby Nagelhout and Pinnacle and KMB architects. It's more of the building aspect of it that was the award, but it was an honor to receive it. Fun evening. Also, Crook County made out very well because Ochoco Irrigation District also received through Taylor Northwest an award for an outstanding in the top 25 on the projects that they've been doing on the pumping stations. And I think they'll probably get another one for the Marion Canal and the road this coming year.
Good.
So Crook County did very well. That's my report.
There is one more thing tomorrow or not tomorrow, Friday in Pioneer Park will be the Veterans Fair that
Mhm.
starts at 10 a.m. And I am not sure when the ending time is, but I encourage everyone, when is it? 3 p.m., 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So there will be resources for veterans. So remind everybody of that. And then if you haven't seen the publicity about the removal of the cedar trees around the courthouse, we will on Friday, coincidentally, also have a little activity there where when we remove the cedar trees. And as Brian pointed out, when we made the motion last Wednesday, the foundation is unique in the fact it isn't like foundations that we currently think about. It is a series of rock that is mortared. So it is very important that we remove those trees because as they lean away from the courthouse, if we did get some saturated soil or if one of those trees was to topple, it would destroy the foundation, and we definitely need to preserve our courthouse. So that will be also happening on Friday. So we'll have veterans in the park and we'll have tree removal at the courthouse. So there'll be a lot of activity. And the fountain was also repainted and it is curing and the water is going to be in the fountain. So just hang around the courthouse because there is going to be a lot of activity going on.
It's starting at 8 a.m., the removal of the trees.
The removal of the
Just
trees
if
is at 8.
anybody's
I'm not sure
interested.
when the water goes in the fountain and the veterans are showing up at 10. So get ready.
So trees at 8, water at 10, 9,
Who knows?
veterans at 10.
There's a lot of stuff
I don't
going on. There you go. So a lot of stuff going on at the courthouse. So, and maybe we'll have the marachis and the margaritas at the fountain. Who knows?
And I will give Sarah 2 pictures that she can put in her next notice out that shows what the trees are gone and what it looks like. And that shows a picture around a cylinder of the walls of what the courthouse is built out of, and some pictures of the foundation that shows the black rock and mortar that's holding it all together.
And as hard as it is to grow trees in Crook County, which I can testament to how many trees I have killed in Paulina area, unfortunately, we do need to put the courthouse first in this instance.
All right, any public comment? Okay, well, we will go into executive session. Thank you everyone for attending.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
And
Read your deal.
I was gonna wait till you got off there.
Do the read in and then
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm gonna brunch.
Okay. The Crook County Board of Commissioners will now meet in executive session under ORS 192-6602E for the purpose of conducting deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transaction, and ORS 192-6602H, consulting with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject and the session as previously announced. No decisions may be made in the executive session, and at the end of executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room.
Yeah, there is a provision of law that says that if someone is going to attend the executive session remotely, then representatives of the news media are also able to attend the executive session remotely. As I understand it, neither of these two executive sessions are going to have anyone attend remotely. And so my recommendation is not to allow representatives news media to attend remotely either.
I mean, I'm totally comfortable with them being here remotely. I mean, I think I've seen that happen in other places, so I don't, I'm. That's my opinion.
I would prefer that he is here in person rather than doing it online with all of the problems that we've been having, the hacking and et cetera. And
Yeah.
considering that they are legal matters,
There's previously no notice of changing this practice has been made.
I don't think that is legally sufficient and it doesn't change the law.
I'm willing to postpone this for 5 minutes, get you here if you're in Prineville. And Commissioner Hermick hasn't weighed in on it, so it may be.
Two of you are here, so you're a quorum.
Well, we didn't
have-
agree.
opposing views.
Oh,
I-
you have
I think
opposing
it's-
views. Oh,
I think there's
okay.
no reason why
Okay,
we
so
shouldn't
what
let
is, okay.
somebody that could be here at another time just because he's online. They are online, not he, but just a person's online. I don't know. Again, if it was something that was not allowed for him to be, I would totally be, except, you know, if it was union negotiations or something like that, but I just don't see any reason why we should be.
So
And
what,
I feel that I would postpone the meeting for 5 minutes so he could come down and do it in person. I don't particularly like, there is no one else on, and so we do not have to do that. And I'm glad there's no one else on because I prefer not to have executive sessions out on the airways. I would prefer that they be here.
and I'm with you. I am very worried about recording of executive sessions, particularly because of what has happened at the school district. So yes, I would like to hear your legal advice. I'm sorry I went to the restroom. I didn't expect this. Okay, excuse me.
So there's a provision of law that says that if the executive sessions are going to be attended by anyone remotely, then representatives of news media can attend the executive session remotely as well. For neither of these two executive sessions is someone going to be attending remotely. So representatives of news media are not required to be permitted to attend remotely. And my recommendation is that you don't have remote attendance unless you have to.
So no one on here is going to be remote. No one other than the people in this room are attending this executive session.
That is my understanding.
Then that's the legal advice, then I will follow that legal advice. So that's fine with me. So that's the way I weigh with Brian. Yes.
The Crook County Board of Commissioners will now leave executive session under ORS 1926602E for the purpose of conducting deliberations with person designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions, and ORS 1926602H, consulting with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Representatives of the news media and designated staff were allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience were asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media were specifically directed not to report on or of any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decisions were made in the executive session. We have now returned to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Okay, Eric, if you could,
Yes, commissioners, for the topics discussed under 2E, based on what I think I heard today, it sounds like the motion would be to direct the county's agents to correspond with the other parties as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
motion's been made and second. Any discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor, say aye.
Hamrick, aye.
Barney, aye.
Crawford, aye.
And for the discussion that was held under 2H, I believe the motion would be to direct the designated staff and agents to correspond with the other parties and to act as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor, say aye.
Hamrick, aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, aye. Any other business? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
So motion been made and second to adjourn. Any discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, aye. Thank you.
Do you have stuff to sign?